In November of 2017, a Japanese train company issued a public apology after doing something truly unthinkable. An express train travelling to Tokyo from Ibaraki, about an hour north of the city, had been scheduled to depart the station at 9:44 AM. But then they discovered something shocking. It turned out the train in question had actually left the station at 9:44 AM. Oh my god, what were they thinking? Wait, what? Yes, it turns out the train had left the station an astonishing 20 seconds early, departing at 9:44 and 20 seconds instead of the planned time of 9:44 and 40 seconds. Oh god, no. And while the train company sincerely apologised for the inconvenience, despite no one actually complaining, Western media pounced on the story, amazed at the concept of a train apologising for effectively leaving on time. After all, in the UK, train companies don't apologise when the damn thing doesn't materialise at all. But I don't think I've ever met a foreigner visiting Japan who's experienced the country's shockingly efficient, clean, punctual public transport and not wanted to steal it and take it back home to their own country. Well, maybe apart from that one guy from Switzerland. But when you come to Japan, you'll constantly feel jealous of all the great things the country has, and your one doesn't. Like a kid in a candy store. Oh, I want that one, Mum. I want edible ramen and futuristic robots. Oh, do shut up, child. We've got edible ramen and futuristic robots at home. Oh. So in this video, let's take a look at 12 ideas that we should steal from Japan. Some are physical inventions, others are ideas, concepts, and ways of thinking. And we've already got the low-hanging fruit that is public transport out of the way as number one. Now, the irony certainly isn't lost on me that this video is called 12 Things to Steal from Japan, and just this week I made a video about a foreign YouTuber who literally stole things while he was in Japan. When I say steal, I mean in the metaphorical sense, to be inspired by, and it's a fucking shame that I should have to elaborate on that point. My God. So I was recently back in the UK, and one evening I was stood in the street eating a sausage roll, like you do, and thinking to myself, you know what, the UK isn't so bad after all. And then I witnessed a man walk over to an ATM cash register and just piss all over it. It was at that point I realised it was time to leave the UK once again. But over the years I've talked about how this is my favourite thing about Japan. People have a fundamental respect for public spaces. It's the reason you can sit peacefully on public transport and enjoy the ride without someone blaring out shite music on their phone speaker. You know, it's the reason Japanese media makes such a big deal when a YouTuber douchebag tears through the fabric of society. You know, just this month, a dickhead who licked a soy sauce bottle in a sushi restaurant received a 3-year suspended prison sentence. They really don't fuck about. Now, I don't want to paint Japan as some sort of utopian society. The work culture and gender equality very much get in the way of that. But when it comes to public civility and safety, it really does come eerily close. And tragically, while most of the ideas on this list can be stolen or adopted overseas, this is one that is practically impossible. Now you might be thinking, well, this is all great, but dumb it down, give me one word here to sum it all up. And the closest I can find is kizukai, literally meaning thoughtfulness or consideration. It's kind of what underpins it all. But it has a broader meaning that's difficult to define, and so I went in search of Japan's top kizukai professor to get the best definition that I could. How would you explain kizukai in English?
Very fucking difficult.
It took 3 weeks to find that man, my God. So to wrap up the point, the best thing about Japan, public civility, is also the most notoriously difficult to steal. We'd have to literally appropriate an entire culture dating back 2,000 years, but hopefully you see why I chose it. Really, for this point, I should have just gone, let's steal vending machines. Oh, vending machines are good. You can dispense a drink, innit? Nice low-hanging fruit. And speaking of low-hanging fruit, I don't think this will be featuring. This is one singular banana wrapped in a bag. I don't know what's worse, this or the fact that a banana case is a thing. I haven't yet worked out if this is a good example of our faltering society, or if it's actually an ingenious way to preserve your banana. Let's find out. No, it's not, because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the banana, the one thing it was designed for. For a while now, I've been thinking of cutting off all contact with my friends outside of Japan, for one reason, and one reason alone. Wagyu beef burgers. Oh my god, mate, it's Wagyu burgers, isn't it? Holy shit, dude, look how cheap this Wagyu is.
Oh, fucking yeah, mate. Wagyu beef burgers at a reasonable price.
Yes, it's almost as if it's not real Wagyu. Stop sending me bloody photos. Look at that sorry-looking burger. It should be in a fucking courtroom for crimes against humanity. Absolute disgrace. If you want to see what a real Wagyu burger looks like, I've got one right here in this bag. Look how greasy this is. More oil than Kuwait. We'll take a look at this a little bit later on. But first thing first. But Wagyu used to mean something truly special. I'll never forget the first time I sat down at a teppanyaki grill and watched it being meticulously prepared. Sizzling, buttery, rich smell, that melt-in-your-mouth texture. Hell, Natsuki invented a whole new phrase just to describe the experience of eating the stuff.
Justice delicious.
Justice delicious. No more, because foreign companies are taking the word Wagyu and slapping it on any crappy product they can to boost sales. Now I get it, the real thing is pretty damn rare and it's certainly not cheap. A single cut of 200 grams of Matsusaka beef will set you back 24,000 yen online, about $160. And that's typically why it's only eaten on special occasions, like birthdays, you know, which is why I make sure to have 3 birthdays every single year. Up until recently, it was notoriously difficult to get hold of Wagyu outside of Japan, because in 1997, Japan declared it a national treasure and started banning the export of Wagyu cows, and even their DNA to avoid poor imitations overseas. They went the extra distance. However, before that, some cows had snuck out of Japan, and even some companies genetically modified the cows to find the genetic trait that led to the prized fatty marbled beef. And that is how you can get Australian or British or American Wagyu. And you know what? Sometimes it's actually edible. But serve that crap in Japan and they'll laugh you out of a room. They do not see it as an authentic thing. In the same way a French winemaker from Champagne will bludgeon you to death with a stick if you claim any sparkling wine made outside of that area is champagne. It's an insult to the production process. Japanese Kuroge black cattle are treated like royalty with their pure bloodlines. They're given names and allowed to roam free, and sometimes even get a cheeky massage to help with stress. Painstakingly selectively bred for generations. Honestly, there's a reason it tastes so good. And the good news is Japan is actually trying to double exports to 300,000 tonnes by 2035. So you might be able to get your hands on the good stuff outside the country. Now let's eat a Wagyu beef burger. The real thing. This is a real Wagyu burger from a restaurant called Henry's Burger, and it costs about 1,000 yen for a single patty, which, given the fact it's real Kuroge Wagyu beef, that's pretty incredible. It's on par with Shake Shack somehow, price point wise. Oh my god. All the thrills of eating a Wagyu steak, but in a portable form factor. This is a revelation. My god, I regret moving to Tokyo just because I can have this on tap. What was I thinking? Jesus. Now, this video is about ideas the world should steal from Japan, but what about the sneaky individuals out there who want to steal from you? If, like me, you're constantly on the move using public Wi-Fi, keep that connection encrypted and hackers at bay with today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Imagine sitting in a cozy cafe eating fried chicken, scrolling online on your laptop. But wait, you see that shady individual over in the corner. Anytime you use public Wi-Fi, they may be able to see what you're up to. Never fear, however, ExpressVPN has you covered by encrypting your every move. Admittedly, when I started using it 2 years ago, it wasn't all for privacy and security. There was also some fun. With just a couple of clicks, I can change my online location and have access to thousands of extra shows on all my favourite streaming services. I mean, with the all-new One Piece live-action series kicking off, don't forget the OG version, with all 37 seasons only available in Japan. Or maybe you fancy some Studio Ghibli and will sit down, hop on over to the UK and enjoy My Neighbour Risotto the way it was meant to be enjoyed. Fast, efficient, and without any buffering issues. It's probably why it's rated the #1 VPN of 2023. Make sure to use my link expressvpn.com/abroadjapan to get 3 months free. And watch your favourite shows and stay safe online.
Hello, how's it going?
My wife left me. Again.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Don't touch me.
I apologize if I made you uncomfortable.
You did.
Please let me know. How can I assist you?
Well, the robots from the future might not be here just yet, but Japan is pretty damn innovative when it comes to employing robots in the workplace. And while most people know about sushi conveyor belts that we all know and love, or the little Shinkansen bullet train bringing you your fish, more recently family restaurants across the country have been rolling out clunky delivery robots that look like something out of a 1970s sci-fi film. And unlike having an awkward conversation with Pepper the robot, they get the job done pretty damn well. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, I don't want my job taken by some bloody robot. I'm the best there is, goddammit. Which I say, wait a minute. It's not always the case that robots are taking people's jobs. For example, a lot of these family restaurants, whether it's Gusto, Denny's, Coco's, out in more rural areas, are really struggling to find staff in the face of depopulation, and the robots kind of help fill that role. Not only that, but robots can be used as avatars to help people that wouldn't normally be able to work. Case in point, the most inspiring example of using robots in the workplace is in the Dawn Avatar Robot Cafe here in Tokyo. A restaurant staffed entirely by robots, controlled and operated by disabled people from their homes, giving opportunities to people who may struggle or simply be unable to find work. Meanwhile, at the Henna Hotel, robots are staffing the front desk, and in one respect they're quite good in the sense that they're bilingual. They can operate in 3 or 4 languages, even though they are undeniably fucking frightening. And that's the last thing you want to see when you arrive jet-lagged at a Tokyo hotel. When they rolled out the first robot hotel, I think 2017, I went there and filmed it, and a lot of it didn't actually work. But since then, Henna Hotels have really improved it, and it's become one of the most popular hotel brands throughout the country, particularly with foreign tourists. So even though Japan might not always get it right with their robots, at least they're finding new ways to innovate and improve the customer experience using robots. And with Japan's tech sector declining a little bit in the face of competition from South Korea and China, it's one innovative edge the country still has going for it. When I was looking for my first apartment in Sendai, it was an absolute nightmare to find somewhere that would allow foreigners. And I finally found one that seemed pretty nice on the surface, until I got to the back, where there was a tatami mat room similar to this, with the shoji door completely shredded to pieces, as though it was straight out of a horror movie. It was almost as if something was trying to claw its way out, pretty unsuccessfully. Now, some say the apartment was haunted, tormented by evil spirits. Others say that it was the 3-year-old child running rampant with the scissors. Who knows what to believe? Either way, I got the apartment, and thankfully they replaced the shoji doors, so they look like this. Well, not this bad. I mean, these ones up here look tea-stained, as though somebody's been physically sick or spilt something. And that's the first thing I love about shoji doors. They tell a story, albeit a fairly grim story here, but it's that ethereal glow, especially in the morning. It's the perfect way to wake up. And, you know, many ryokans, many traditional inns in Japan don't have curtains, and so you sort of wake up naturally with the morning light. Now, they're not perfect. This one might be intentionally stained for dramatic effect, but there is one over there that's torn and ripped, and that certainly wasn't intentional. That's what happens when you let a drunken friend into your brand new studio. Never, ever again.
Wow.
When I was back in the UK over the summer, I did a book signing, and I met about 500 people. It was a lot of fun, a lot of people. But I asked each and every person the same question when I met them, and that was, where are you from, mate, innit? And I got different answers. They were from Leeds, Nottingham, London. But when I asked them the next question, which is, what are those places like? What's it like where you're from? They always came up with the same answer, and the answer was, they're shit. Now, maybe that's a pessimistic British thing, I don't know. It turned out the only place in the UK that people are actually proud to be from is Shropshire. So well done, Shropshire. I don't know what goes on there, but it must be good. But when you ask a Japanese person where they're from, quite the opposite. They'll actually be proud of their hometown. They'll have a sort of nostalgic fondness from the place that they're from. Where are you from?
Hiroshima.
Is it good?
Of course.
It's a testament to how towns in Japan make their locals actually feel part of something bigger, make them feel part of the community. And one way they do that every year is through festivals. Now you might be thinking, look dickhead, you can't appropriate a Japanese ancient festival dating back literally thousands of years, mate, innit? To which I say, but wait, many of the festivals don't date back, again, quite as far as you think. Take the Fertility Festival, beloved by Joey the Anime Man. It dates back to just 1969. Nice. There's also my favourite festival, the Tachinepete Festival in Aomori, with the tallest floats in all of Japan, towering 23 metres above the city. That only dates back to 1996. And when the first festival was over, to celebrate this majestic artwork that they created over many months, you know, painstakingly built, they did what any good town would do. They incinerated it in a field. They burnt it alive. I don't know why. If I'd been there working on it, I'd have been very, very disappointed. But there's also the Funeko Nagashi Boat Festival in Aomori, where every year they construct beautiful, elaborate boats. And then they burn them. They burn them in the river. They burn them all. Why do Japanese festivals need to burn everything? I don't understand. But The point is, festivals are fun and they bring the community together and you get to burn things. Now, I'm not saying we steal these specific festivals, though it could be quite fun, especially the fertility one. What I'm saying is we embrace the locality of our own town. For example, the town that I'm from in England is called Maidstone, and in 1897 we had what was then the largest ever typhoid epidemic in England in the 19th century. You know, what better, unique, historic event to reenact and celebrate every year than the typhoid epidemic? But honestly, I've never seen local communities in Japan come together like they do when there's a festival. The elderly, the schools, the kids, everyone gets stuck in. And I want to steal that feeling of pride that they have. I want to steal that sense of belonging. And perhaps above all, I want to burn it all in a field. I want to burn it in a field for fun. Maybe that's why I want the festivals. I'm a pyromaniac at heart. Somebody who spends their time often on the road in hotel rooms. This is my favourite thing. You ready? Spilling water all over the floor. You could do it. It seems trivial. It seems even sad by some accounts. But spill water on the bathroom floor in the UK, watch it seep through the floorboards and get ready to check out your home insurance policy. Here, you don't have to worry about that. Here, you can splash water wherever you want, all over the floor, all over the $3,000 cinema camera. Oh. Japanese hotel rooms often feel like there's an anomaly, as though the bathroom hasn't so much been built into the room as simply dropped in, and that's because it often has. The bathroom is a self-contained wet room made of prefabricated plastic, like that, where you've got your bathtub, your shower, your sink and toilet all included in one very tiny space. In fact, I've had to break the rules of physics to be able to get inside this damn thing, contort and break my legs. I actually think I might be stuck, but I'll deal with that later. But they make very good use of the space. The tap for the basin is also the tap for the bath. And while the size varies, the one consistency in Japanese hotels is you know the bathroom will be functional. Unlike many hotels around the world where a good bathroom in a 2 or 3 star hotel often feels like a nightmarish lottery. The idea of the wet room goes back to the Japanese household, where many family members share the same bath water. By first showering in this space here, hence the drainage plug down there, and then getting into the bath already clean. And even if you're not sold on the soulless but functional bathroom, there is one innovation I do think we should steal, and that is the toilet. No, not the washlet either. I'll never forget when I moved into my first apartment and I went into the toilet to find a wash basin built into the toilet itself. The idea being you wash your hands in the basin and that water goes through to rinse the toilet. An ingenious way of recycling water that would probably save the world an awful lot of wasted water if adopted universally. Go Japan, taking on wastage. Oh wait, individually wrapped bananas, never mind. But for being able to splash around carefree all over the floor and know that when I check into a Japanese hotel, the bathroom is going to be functional and get the job done. I want to steal these modular bathrooms. That being said, I actually think I'm physically stuck in this bath. I can't move, like genuinely. Can somebody help me? Hello? Please, help me. Oh. Sugoi desu now. And now it's time for an impromptu quiz. Question 1, to risk it all, what percentage of Japan's population owns a passport? Is it A, 65%? Is it B, 25%? Or is it C, get out of my kitchen, why am I doing an impromptu quiz? And the answer is B, 25%. Isn't that crazy? For a country that has what's considered to be the best passport in the world for visa-free travel, only 25% have a passport. I guess one of the reasons is domestic travel within Japan is actually very good. And I think there's one reason above all that exploring the country can be very rewarding, dare I say, very filling indeed. Meibutsu means famous product or famous dish, and it's a really handy word to know. If you ever travel somewhere new in Japan, you can say Meibutsu wa nan desu ka? What's the local dish here? But Meibutsu is done on a truly astonishing scale here, where each and every one of Japan's 47 prefectures has at least one local dish or confectionery that it's famous for. For example, Miyagi Prefecture in Sendai, where I used to live, the local dish there is gyutung, literally cow tongue, and it's a lot more delicious than it sounds. Osaka is famous for okonomiyaki pancakes, of course. And Iwate has wanko soba noodles that I'm still recovering from with mild to moderate PTSD. Now, not all Meibutsu are inherently good. Nakano's Meibutsu is Hachinoko, literally bee larvae. And we saw how that turned out for Natsuki when he attempted to consume that jar of horrendous, pasty, awful stuff. Now you might be thinking, you charming moron, you can't just invent a cuisine overnight. These meibutsu date back thousands of years. Which is bollocks, because Kyoto's most popular meibutsu is called yatsuhashi, and they're sweets that are just 30, 40 years old. And many of Japan's most popular dishes only date back to the post-war era, such as the aforementioned gyutan or okonomiyaki pancakes. But what I love about meibutsu is it kind of turns Japan into one big RPG. Like, there's a real incentive to go out and explore the country and kind of try all these new dishes. And you might be thinking, well, how do you learn about them? How do people know about these hundreds, if not thousands, of dishes around the country? And that is the genius part where Japanese TV comes in. As you may already know, Japanese TV obsesses over food like no other. In fact, it's estimated an incredible 40% of programming on TV here is focused on food. It's the ultimate marketing tool, and many of these shows are actually funded by the food or agricultural industry. But this cycle of creating a local dish and then marketing it over TV can have an incredible economic effect on more rural kind of areas. I mean, take wankosoba noodles, for example. Most tourists would never go to Morioka, as lovely as it is. But because of those noodles, people make the pilgrimage 2.5 hours north of Tokyo. But it's not just the local dishes that I want to steal, it's the place you eat them as well, and one very cozy type of place in particular. Imagine if a maze, a pub crawl, and your grand's cosy kitchen all had a baby. Ugh. Welcome to Yakitori, Japan's answer to a night out, where you might need a map to navigate between all the tiny bars, but by the third stop, you probably won't care too much. Yakitori literally meaning side and street, and narrow alleyways lined with various small bars and restaurants, where the concept of personal space is simply a myth. Perhaps the best known ones are in Shinjuku, like Umuide Yakitori, literally memory lane, with 60 bars sandwiched between 2 alleyways, or Golden Guy, which looks like a cyberpunk wet dream. Make no mistake, Yakitori are pretty damn intense, as you literally rub shoulders alongside other customers in a hot, humid environment with your face mere inches from the grill behind the bar. But of course, odds are, if you're looking for a luxury dining experience, you won't be going to a Yakitori in the first place. You go because there's nothing else quite like it. For the cramped atmosphere, the good food, and the fact you can speak with the owner, who's there tending to the customers behind the bar. Hello. Nice guy. And more often than not, it's the owner who's the main draw card. I mean, Ryota and I once made a video in the town of Hachinohe, in far-flung Aomori, and people travelled across the region to meet the charismatic owner of the bar there, a hilarious woman who really wanted me to eat horse meat.
Horsepower!
But because Yakitori restaurants are so small, it means budding entrepreneurs and chefs can, test out the waters and start small. And in more recent years, they've even played a role in rejuvenating the economies of rural areas where the nightlife scene is on the decline. And as you sit packed in a tiny room alongside 6 or 7 people eating delicious food and feeling undeniably claustrophobic, hopefully you'll see the appeal as well. But maybe I'm a little bit biased, given that the food you'll find most commonly in Yakitori happens to be the next thing I want to steal from Japan. Yeah, okawari, onegai shimasu.
はいよ。クリスさんビール好きだね。
そうですね。Bit too much. Bit too much. Right, I know what you're probably thinking here. You just added this point in Yakitori because you wanted a tax-deductible way to eat your favourite Japanese dish. That's nonsense, heinous, hideous lies. I would never, ever do that. To which I say, it's not actually the yakitori chicken that I want to steal, it's a key ingredient required in making yakitori, and that's what I want to steal. More on that in a minute. But when I tell people I love yakitori, they're always kind of like, well, it's just the simplest, most boring dish, it's chicken on a skewer. And I get it, putting some chicken on a stick over some charcoal is hardly bloody rocket science. And yet somehow, when walking the streets of the UK, you are more likely to run into a rocket scientist than you are into a good yakitori skewered restaurant. Yakitori, literally meaning grilled and burnt, is the simplest of dishes. Take a juicy cut of chicken, the breast, the thigh, the liver, the heart, the skin, the tail, and gently grill it over a charcoal grill, intermittently turning it, fanning it, seasoning it, and, well, yeah, alright, it's not as easy as it seems, to be honest. But a few years ago, the most critically acclaimed, award-winning restaurant in all of Japan was a yakitori restaurant hidden away in the central Japan Alps. It became so damn popular, you could only get in with an invite from a local. And I can assure you, I've never tried so hard to befriend the locals of a rural Japanese village. Suffice to say, I was unsuccessful. But even if I stole the idea of yakitori and tried to set up my own restaurant in the UK, there's one thing that might hold me back, one thing that would stop this from happening. And it all comes down to Japan's secret weapon, the highest quality charcoal on earth. Binchotan is typically white in appearance and burns longer and with more intensity than regular black charcoal. Simply put, if you were being roasted alive by cannibals, this is the one charcoal you wouldn't want them to use. But because of its high carbon, it produces little smoke as it burns, meaning unlike regular barbecues, where the food can have a bitter char-grilled taste, Binchotan imparts no additional flavour or aroma on the chicken, meaning it unlocks the full, juicy, meaty flavour of each cut. And Jesus Christ, I'm starting to feel hungry just thinking about it. Oh, God. Binchotan. It's the future. Binchotan is the reason Japanese yakitori has the edge, and for that alone it's worthy of stealing to unlock the magic of the nation's simplest but purest dish. God bless tax-deductible yakitori. And you know, before I moved to Tokyo, back when I was in Sendai, when I filmed in the studio, I'd often go to a yakitori restaurant round the corner once a week where I'd sit alone and devour 20 skewers of chicken. It was practically a bloody ritual, and yes, I was alone, and that is actually one of the next things I'd like to steal from Japan. In most countries, when you walk into a restaurant, the first question you get is, oh, how many customers? And if you go, oh, one please, you get the look of, oh, one of those customers. Oh, you can almost hear the sad soundtrack playing overhead, as if the people around you were taunting you, judging you no less. What's the matter, mate? Got no fucking friends? Don't know why they sound like Jay. But meanwhile, Japan is optimised for solo dining. Go into any restaurant, and it's not an uncommon sight to witness diners eating or drinking alone, hunched over a counter, at a sushi restaurant or an izakaya pub or a bar. Hell, Ichiran Ramen even have individual booths, meaning you don't even need to look at another filthy customer while you enjoy your ramen. Though Ichiran has given the concept a somewhat questionable name of a flavour concentration booth. Sounds like a form of torture, but many restaurants have adopted this idea, with family restaurants now with their solo seats, and even yakiniku meat grilling restaurants where solo customers get their own private grill. But fundamentally, when I'm travelling Japan, I like the fact that if I'm alone, it doesn't limit my options in a way it kind of would in the West, right? I can walk into any restaurant, and when somebody goes, oh, nanme sama desu ka, how many people? I can go, oh, hitori onegaishimasu, and they don't go, oh, I see, oh dear. And let's face it, it is especially convenient because I also have no friends as well. But that is the 12th and final thing that I want to steal from Japan. But what do you want to steal the most? I think if I had to choose one on this list, it would be Kizukai. I think having a society that functions as one is really essential. And no, actually, fuck that. Oh, am I kidding? It would be Wagyu burgers. Of course it would be Wagyu burgers. But let me know in the comments which one you would choose. As always, guys, for more behind-the-scenes content, check out the Abroad Japan Patreon. And until then, I'll see you right back here to do it all over again next time on Abroad in Japan. As for me, I'm off to find a banana that'll fit this godforsaken banana case. Honestly, it's reasons like this that I dine alone most evenings.